So we had been discussing verse number 11 to 18. We finished of the second chapter. I thought I'll summarize these verses. So Arjuna has surrendered, so to say, to Krishna by the verse saying, Karpanya dosho pahatas svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yash shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. This prapatti word we discussed, and this is what is called surrender. And what he is asking for is shreyas. Yat shreyasyat tan me bruhi. That which is the ultimate good, that which is, other than dharma and adharma. That is what he is trying to say. Something he has somehow come to understand by the next verse when we saw that I don't see any means. I don't see any means which is going to solve this problem. I am not able to see what is going to solve the problem. So this fundamental problem of wanting person ever remains wanting, keeps going on and on and on. And therefore, even if I won this battle, the sense organs which are tormented by this sadness, this shoka, overcome by this sorrow which I am experiencing, this sadness, how to take it away? By any means I don't see. This sorrow, the shoka, he is asking, what is it that was really going to remove my sorrow? These are not the means. And that is why Bhagwan, straight away, this problem which he discovers as the fundamental problem, that he is addressed. Because in the Gita, you see, Bhagwan is not answering anything about dharma and adharma. Straight away he answers this problem of sorrow. Ashocyan word is there. Shochya means that which is grievable. Shochaniya, shochya, all these are the same suffixes with the word shuch. Shuch se hi shok bana hai, aur shuch se hi shochya bana hai, that which is grievable. And the last word is, in the Gita, in the verse is ma shuchaha. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja aham tva sarva papebhyah. aham tva sarva papebhyah. आगे क्या है? किसी को याद है?
मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
I wanted to listen from you. Ma shuchaha. Don't grieve. Ma shuchaha. So the whole Gita as such is from Ashocyan, beginning with Ashocya and ending with Ma shuchaha. So it is talking of, why it is talking of that? Because the whole problem of sorrow is addressed. Because shoka moha is there. So the first verse really lays down upakrama, the subject matter of the Gita. And that is what is said by Bhagwan in the first verse, na anushocanti panditaha. Panditaha na anushocanti means what? Panditaha means atma jnaninaha na anushocanti. The one who have atma ka jnan,
He will not
वो
be.
लोग शोक नहीं करते. हाँ, I have gone. Hello.
Hello.
हाँ, आ गया वापस. वो लोग आत्मा का ज्ञान. The one who has this knowledge of the self, they don't grieve. That means the one who don't have the knowledge of the self
Will grieve.
will grieve. Hello.
Hello.
So basically, those who grieve don't have knowledge of the self.
Yes. Because that is what he said here.
वो समझदार हैं, जो दुखी रहते हैं वो बेवकूफ.
बिल्कुल.
I like.
Panditaha na anushocanti means apanditaha shochanti. So the cause of grief, the cause of sorrow, the reason for sorrow is ajnana. through this corollary, ignorance is the cause of grief. That is very clearly said in the very first verse. Nanu shochanti pandita. Pandita nanu shochanti. Pandita does not mean pandit in the mandir, जो घंटी बजा के पूजा कर रहा है. Panda is Atmagyani, the one who has the knowledge of the self. And the one who has the knowledge of the self, they don't grieve. And you grief can come from two sources, either from Atma or from Anatma. Atma, if it is grievable, grief, it is nature is sorrow, then you should be happy being sorrowful because it is your own true nature. And always you don't really like the bug in the ear, or like the stone in the eye, or like the stone in the footwear. You cannot have it. You just want to remove it all the time. So too sadness. So it is not your nature. And therefore, anything which is other than the grief is because of anatma. Anatma se kya grief ho sakta hai? Wo bhi possible nahi hai. That is what is showing in this verse. Pragya Vadansha Bhasha, I'm just going to underline the main points of this verse. Summarize, we have already studied it thoroughly. And Rajiv is also writing good notes on this. So you and everybody is studying through Gita Home Study. If you have any questions, you can ask me at the end of this class. Gata soon, agata soonscha. Asoon means prana. Gata soon means jinke pran chale gaye hain. One whose pranas have gone. Agata soonscha, and the one whose prana is not yet gone. Not yet gone means anytime they can go. You don't know about what next moment when the prana will go away. Are you aware when it will go away? Do you know? Which is your last breath? Nobody knows. And therefore he says, Bhagavan says, Gata soon, agata soomcha. For both of them, you don't grieve. Jinke chale gaye hain, to jana hi the changing is changing. And non-changing is non-changing, it will remain changeless. And what is changing will change, definitely changing will change. So one pranas, you know, when the prana is gone, definitely they will go. Prana will definitely go. They are not permanent, they are not eternal. And that is why there is, once you know this fact of life, there is no reason to grieve. And that is why he's saying it is not that, Bhagavan is not saying here that you should not grieve. That is not the point here. The point is there is no cause for grief, there is no reason to grieve. And when you are grieving, that means Atmagyani, the one who's the knowledge of that Atma. So therefore, this verse really lays down for the discriminating faculty to go into the subject matter of what is Atma, what is Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Vivek. And therefore, you know the whole structure of the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter, verse number 11 to 30, really is Sankhya. Sankhya Yoga. The whole chapter is called Sankhya Yoga because predominantly the Sankhya is taught. And from the verse number 39 onwards, 39, 40 onwards to 53 is the Karma Yoga. Yoga Buddhi is defined. And 54th Arjuna asks a question, Lakshanas of a Jnani. Until the end of the chapter, Bhagavan from 55 to 72 give the Lakshanas of a Jnani. Man of realization, the characteristics of the man of realization. I have to speak in English also because there are some foreigners also in this group who will be listening to the recording. If I speak in Hindi, then they will not understand anything. So, Ashocha Nanvashocha, you are grieving for that which does not deserve any, there is no cause for any grief. Anvashochatvam. And Pragyavalamsha Bhashase. And you are speaking, smacking words of wisdom. He says there is Ignorance is the cause, and therefore, what is that ignorance? That itself Bhagavan lays down from verse number 11 to 30, really speaking, exactly till 25, then till 30 it goes on, then 31 to 38, Swadharma Mabichavekshya, little bit topically, he discusses about Swadharma, and then again he picks up the Yoga Buddhi later on, and that is how this verse is proceeded. In the Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters deal with Twampada, Tattvamasi Vakya. So Twampada, you are, is the subject matter predominantly. In the next 6 chapter, Tat, Ishvara is the subject matter predominantly. And the next 6 chapter, Asi, the equation is dealt with predominantly. So this is how Tvam means not only Arjuna, Tvam means you the person. So Tvam Anva Shocha means from the shoulder of the Arjuna, everybody is spoken of. Okay. Then in the next verse, any questions regarding this verse? Otherwise, I'll proceed to the next verse.
Swamiji.
Yes.
Pranam Swamiji. Swamiji, I particularly like the point that you underlined, that there is no reason, there is no cause to grieve. Because normally this would be translated or misunderstood as should.
Yeah, it is not actually.
And you specifically remove the should from it and put in the cause or the reason to grieve, and which is actually wonderful. That helps.
So actually, that the question, really speaking, there is no cause for any grief. This is the really some different outlook totally, because generally the student of moksha does not understand and he is seeking moksha in so many ways.
Sir.
That Atma is Nitya Mukta, it is already free. What you are seeking, it is already that. You are already that what you are seeking. This is with the premise Vedanta begins. The Bhagavad Gita also is one of the 3 texts like Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. So this 3 lays down the foundation of one Vakya, Eka Vakya Vichara Tattvamasi, that thou art. With this understanding that you are already that. This is what is laid down here in the opening sentence remarks, and the teaching begins with that there is no cause, there is no reason for any grief. And that what is Bhagavan is expounding in the later verses later on in this, as I said, 11 to 25. To begin with, so he says in the next verse, Nattve vaham jatunasam nattvam neme janadipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. So he uses the nityata, the constancy of the Atma is shown through this verse. Not that I was not there. Double negative is used. Not that, it is not that I was not, or you were not, or we, all these kings, all these kings, Janadipa, Janadipa were not. That means they were always there. I was there, you were there. Constancy of the Atma. Not only I, you think I am Bhagavan, that is why I am always there. No, you were also there. And not only you maybe you are some special being or some very God, some special being. No, it is not like that. Even all these kings were always there. So constancy of the Atma is shown by me, you, and all these kings. Aham, Tvam, and these kings. And the plural, Janadipaha. So Janadipaha does not mean the Atma is many. Plural is with reference to the Upadhi, the adjunct. Nachaiva na bhavishyama. And also not that we will not be, we sarve vayam atapparam, atapparam, hereafter also, sarve vayam atapparam, we will be. bhavishyama, na chaiva na bhavishyama. Not that we will not be, we will always be. Means what? The Atma is Nitya. That is shown by this verse. It is timeless. Timeless, it is not Nitya in terms of past, present, and future. Because born is gone. Born is gone. The moment last time, whatever words I am saying, they are gone. Now what I am saying is born. Is. Present is also.
Swamiji is also gone. I hope we can share this with him when he comes back. Swamiji, मैंने बोला Swamiji is also gone.
Yeah. I'll come back now.
Nitya.
Swamiji,
Nitya.
Swamiji, born is gone and gone is born.
स्वामी जी के
Gone
नाम
is
में ही
born, born
नित्य
is
है
gone.
हाँ। स्वामी जी के नाम में ही नित्य है बोल रही है शारदा.
So this Nitya is timeless Nitya. It is not time bound Nitya. Nitya is not never time bound. That Nitya. That is why in one of the verses, Anashi, 2 words are used. This Nitya can be like earth is Nitya all the time there. So it is not Pravaha Nityatvam. This Nitya is always Anashi, which is indestructible. So here this constancy is said. And that he is explaining through the next verse. He gives an example. For that Dehina means it is genitive case. Deha asya asti iti Dehi. And Dehi ka word hai, Dehin is the shabd, Dehina is the genitive singular. For this, the one who has the Deha, the one who has the body is Dehi, Shariri. Sharira asya asti iti Shariri. Deha asya asti iti Dehi. So, Yatha, Asmin Dehe, in this body, for this embodied soul, for this embodied being, Dehina, these stages are there. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. Youth. Kaumaram is Balya Avastha. Yauvanam is youth. And Jara is old age.
Old age.
So all these 3 stages. So one begins and ends. So the beginning of the another Yauvanam, Kaumaram ends and Yauvanam begins. But that does not mean that Atma is changing. Atma remains the same. Dehi remains the same. The indweller in the body remains the same. The I is a constant. And therefore, Tatha Dehanta Prapti, through this example, he shows, Bhagavan Krishna shows, like once you take up another body, Dehantara Prapti, Dhiras Tatra Namuyati. Same is in the case of once you go to the embodied, this embodied being goes to another body, he remains the same. That I remains the same. It does not change. Dhiras Tatra Namuyati. So the word Dhira used is the same Pandita used above. Dhira is the one who does not get deluded with this changing and changeless. He is the changeless, he knows. The changing, he is not. Okay? He does not get deluded. Na muyati. Okay? So with this example, Yatha Asmin Dehe Deina Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara Tatha Dehantara Prapti. Same way, for this embodied being, these all changes are there. He remains the same. And this Jnani, this Dhira, Tatra na muyati. In that case, in such case, he does not get deluded. Then he goes on to give the example of even if you know the Atma is Nitya and it is changeless, even if that is there, some other things due to the sense organs and sense objects contact. So he gives this example, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada Agama Paino Nitya Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. He says Once you are, matra means sense organs. Miyante abhi iti matra. The sense organs. Because the one like eyes envelop the color. And therefore they are taking note of this color. So vritti goes and it sees the color. And sense object is prishyante iti sparsha, that which comes into contact. Any shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, they are all sense objects. So what happens when the sense organs comes into sense objects? So something is experienced in the form of, he gives an example of heat and cold. And he also says, favorable or unfavorable, sukha and dukha. So it is very relative terms, sheet and ushna. So sheet in cold, it is very not easy, not comfortable in the cold season, in colder regions. And in the heat is too much, it is not comfortable. But it varies. All these contact, this duality, what happens? This is changing. In this changing world, this will happen. Atma ke nitya hote hue bhi, something which is physical through the sthula and sukshma sharira, this thing will be experienced. And this experience, which is in the realm of sukha dukkha, this will come and go. He says agama apai nah, and they are anityaha. They are not nityas like the atma. They are anatma tattva and they are anitya. And therefore you should endure them. So what is the meaning here? What is trying to say in short? Once you understand, you are able to really face this one which is changing, agama apaina, these which comes and goes, this which changing world, this changing experiences, comfortable, non-comfortable, favorable, non-favorable experiences, this will be there in spite of, because once you have the body, once you have the sense organs, sense objects are there in relativity, you will be experiencing what is there to experience in the world. They are favorable, they are not favorable. And therefore, in both the conditions, what you have to do is endure. Titiksha word is given here. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. Apratikara purvakam. Chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. In Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavan Shankaracharya defines what is titiksha. Endure all, sahanam sarva dukkhanam. All kinds of dukkhas you have to endure. Apratikar purvakam. So we go into that. Apratikar purvakam means what? Without the sense of revenge, that this should not have happened to me. This chinta vilaprahitam. Chinta, you are worrying over it. Vilap, you are lamenting. So this is the titiksha, endurance of what cannot be cured is to be endured. That is what is said here. And then he says, Yami navyatayantete purusham purusharshabha. Purusharshabha means bull among the men, like the stud bull which is standing out among the cows. So Arjuna, you are like that. You are bull among the men. You are stand out. And therefore, you are that kind of a person who can deal with such experiences. And yami na vyatayanti ete sukha dukkhe na vyatayanti. These are not able to give you any tormentation. You are the Purusha. To you, they cannot do anything. You are equipoised. Sama dukkha sukham dhiram. You are able to keep your equipoise. The whole sadhana is to really be able to handle these vagaries of life. Once you know what is nitya and what is anitya, what is atma and what is anatma, then you are able to do away with the anitya vastu, vairagya, and then being with the nature of the self, atma tattva, then you are fit for this knowledge. Because the attitude of handling these with total equipoise will give you a contemplative mind. A mind which is contemplative. That once you have that, that means you are fit for this understanding. Because once you are agitated, you don't have a mind to contemplate anything about what is Atma and Atma. And it is far off to really abide in the Atma, the Jnana Nishtha, to really abide in this understanding that I am that. What is Satyam and what is Mithya? That he says, Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. I have my pot, I will bring my pot, just a minute. See, without this pot, this verse will not be complete. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Suppose this pot, whether pot is real or unreal. So what is the weight of the pot? Weight of the pot is weight of clay. Really, it is not weight of the pot. It is weight of the clay. So where is pot? When pot does not have any weight. Pot is only name and form. Pot is a name given to this name and form. Actually, what is there is clay. If you ask clay, where is pot? It says, I don't know what is the pot. I am clay. I am clay. So really, pot does not have the real being. It is drawing its existence, so to say, from the clay. Clay is lending its existence to the pot. So here, what is said here, asata bhava na vidyate and sataha abhava na vidyate. Clay असत ना भाव विद्यते सता सता अभाव न विद्यते. सत का अभाव नहीं है और असत का भाव नहीं है. तो pot is mithya. Asat means here mithya. There are 4 words which you have to understand. Sat, asat. Sat is existence. Asat is non-existence. But here asat, what is talking about is like square circle, or the son of a barren woman, or Shashashringa, horns of a rabbit. We are not talking about total non-existence. That is called tucham word. But what we are talking of here is asat in the sense of mithya. Mithya which does not exist independently. Mithya is that which depends for its existence on something else, like this pot. Pot is depending for its existence on clay. If you remove clay from this pot, where is the pot? But if you remove pot from the clay, which you cannot, you can break the pot, still the clay remains. Clay is. So therefore, clay is a constant with reference to this pot, and pot is coming and going. You know, that is what is said here. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Pot does not have a real being. And sataha abhavaha na vidyate. Clay is always existent. Uska abhav nahi hota. It is it is no non-being. Ubayor api drishtontaha tanayos tattvadarshibhihi. Once you know the truth of both these, Sat and Asat, means Sat and Mithya. Here Asat is said in the terms of Mithya, that which depends upon something else. Pot depends on something else for its existence. Like golden bangle. Bangle exists on something else for its existence. You see, the language also, we say this is clay pot. Clay has become an adjective and pot has become a substantive. Whereas it should be potty clay. Pot is the adjective and clay is the substantive. Potty clay it should be. Like golden bangle. Gold has become an adjective and clay and bangle has become a substantive. What is the truth? Bangly gold it should be. Even in the language, we have given the reality to bangle. We have given the reality to pot. Clay becomes an adjective. Gold has become an adjective. Same way in this body mind sense complex has become the real and the Atma has become unreal, adjective. This shift has to take place. So this is what he says. Ubayor api drishtontaha tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. Tattvadarshibhihi. Tattvadarshi. Tat means a pronoun. Sarvanam hai ye. Pronoun for each and everything whichever is there in the universe. Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi, the one who is the seer of the truth, means the knower of the truth. By the knowers of the truth, because it's Tritiya Vibhakti, instrumental case, Tattvadarshibhihi drishtaha antaha. Of drishta anta means the truth, the essence of this Sat and Asat, Sat and Mithya. Of all, both Anayo, Ubayo, of these two. Ubayo, Anayo. Anayo means these two. Ubayo means of the two. Antaha drishtaha. So once you are explaining, this is a very important verse. He is showing what is Atma and what is Anatma. He says, then he goes on to explain Avinashitu Tadviddhi. That Tat Sat, that Sat which you should know, that is indestructible. You know, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji explains in that verse Sat Buddhi and Asat Buddhi, which is very important. Because Sat Buddhi is like pot is. Pot is. That pot is the Asat. And is the Sat Buddhi. That isness, existence of the pot, that isness is the Sat Buddhi, which does not vyabhicharati, which does not change. Is remains. Even if the pot breaks, broken pot is. You know? Even if the pot is totally destroyed, other thing is remains. So Sat Buddhi is a constant. Asat Buddhi, the Vishaya of that, Asat Buddhi depends upon the Sat Buddhi that we had discussed in the last class. So Asat Buddhi is always dependent upon Sat Buddhi is. And that isness, the Sat Buddhi is really speaking, is the awareness, the conscious principle. Without the consciousness, even Sat. So Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. This consciousness is you, which is lending existence to everything, which is, and which every object is Buddhi is not other than you, other than the consciousness. Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. Understood? So then he says, Avinashi tu tadviddhi. That is totally indestructible, you should know. That Sat is indestructible. And what kind of a Sat is that? Yena sarvamidam tatam. By which idam sarvam, all this, everything, whatever is there in the world, tatam is pervaded. You know? Like space. So this pot space is not only in this pot. Space is pervading each and everything. This pot space, anything, space is all pervading. That, like this, whatever is made of clay, the world of clay pots, anything which is made up of clay, that is pervaded by the clay. Whether it is a clay lid, this is a lid, this is the pot, pitcher, glass, all made of clay. So clay is only one with reference to whatever the things made of clay. And Upanishad, Mundaka, that Chandogya Upanishad says, Vacha Rambanam Vikaro Namadeyam. What all we are saying, the vikaro namadhyam, these modifications of clay, this is called pot, this is called lid. All this is nothing, but we are giving a name. This is called pot, vacha rambhanam. It is only the speech through which we are giving name to these all these different forms. Really speaking, this is only vikara of clay. Mritike teva satyam. Mritika iti eva satyam. Only clay is the truth with reference to all these things made of clay. And why you are saying it by the name of lid, by the name of pot? He says we are just giving to this vikara, the modification of clay, a name. And that is what is said, that this, what is pervading everything, the whole world, is Sat Buddhi. Sat Buddhi does not.
Oh.
की हो गया इस पर ज्यादा टाइम लग रहा है ना आगे स्वामी जी we lost you in
Swamiji is pervading the whole
I've
internet
come
space.
back. I've come back. So, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says in this verse, Vinasham abhyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. So, even Bhagwan cannot destroy this, because Bhagwan is not other than I. Atma. I, Atma, I, Atma. तो ईश्वर का भी आत्मा है, तो वो तो ईश्वर का भी आत्मा है. How can that? How can clay destroy this? How can pot destroy this clay? Pot is not other than clay. Pot is clay. Then how can pot destroy clay? Pot is clay. You know, that's why Ishwar is Atma. Pot is clay. Pot cannot do anything to clay. And pot cannot, because pot is the name and form. Actually, what is only clay. Pot is Asat Buddhi. Clay is Sat Buddhi. Asat Buddhi cannot do anything to Sat Buddhi, because Asat Buddhi depends upon Sat Buddhi for its existence. You understand this? So this is, you have to keep on listening to these kind of things again and again. And that's what he says later on in the next verse, Antavanta ime deha nityasya yokta sharirina anashina aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Ime deha, all these bodies, Antavantaha, all these bodies of whom? He says nityasya sharirina anashina aprameyasya. Four adjectives he is using. Four. Nityasya. Nityasya, the one who is timeless. Sharirina, the one who is an embodied being, who is timeless. The one who is indestructible. Anashina, aprameyasya. This is the most important word in this. Every word is important, but aprameya word I would like to explain a little bit. So aprameya means that which is knowable, that is to be known, knowable, like the pot. Prameya. And I am the pramata, the knower. And pot is the known. So knowable pot is known through the eyes. Eyes are the karana through which pot is seen. Pot is seen through the eyes, and the knower, me, is knowing the pot. This vritti pot is happening, that is prama, jnanam of this pot. Like that, he says Atma is aprameya. If you have studied Bhagavad Gita thoroughly, Bhagavan Swamiji deals with this verse very thoroughly onto what is aprameya. Prameya means knowable, and Atma cannot be known by anything. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, even not by the Vedas. Then why are you studying Bhagavad Gita Vedanta? The point here is, Atma is self-evident. Atma is Swata Siddha. All the pramanas, all the instrument of knowledge work only when I am there. I use those means of knowledge. First I am, then I use my eyes, then I use my ears, then I use my senses, Then I use any other scriptures. But what is knowable? Atma. Atma is not to be, Atma is known already. I am, I am, I am. It is Swata Siddha, it is self-evident. But then what Vedanta is going to do about it? Vedanta is not going to establish the Atma, isness of the Atma. It is already established, Swata Siddha. It is going to remove what? It is going to remove what? The confusion,
Ignorance.
the ignorance, the confusion. You're knowing Atma indifferently. You're superimposing so many things upon Atma. You see all the Anatma, you are superimposing upon the Atma. And therefore, Atma Anatma Vivek is there. Unless and until you do very clearly what is Atma and what is Anatma, you definitely cannot come to terms with yourself. Because you are somehow or the other compromising what is always changing. That what is changeless in you, when that clarity is not there, that is the problem. And that is why the Atma is Satya and Anatma is Asat, Mithya. So once you are not able to discriminate, that Viveka of Atma and Atma is not there, you cannot arrive at I. And that Vedanta, through the teaching of the Vedanta, this Pramana, you arrive the knowledge of yourself, what you are not and what you are. Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata. And therefore, O Bharata, you should fight. It is not an injunction, because he was already engaged in war. And Bhagavan says that what is to be done is to be done. Not that he is telling you now you go and fight. Because he was showing he was confused about dharma and adharma. Once you have this identity crisis is taken care of, the reality of Atma is understood. What you are doing, you do now. Finish your job. There is no confusion. Because of all the confusion was because of this identity crisis. Okay. So this whole teaching, because now it continues with this in the next few verses, this whole development of the thought you see from Ashocyan till Tasmat Yudhyasva Bharata. So to say, this first time he says, after giving all this, that Atma is Nitya, it is changeless, and therefore even if what is Nitya, even if all the experiences which are Anitya, which are Sukha Dukkha, which are Shita Ushna, Dvandva, they are coming and going, yet you are not really get into distress. And then he shows that what is changing and then changeless remains changeless. That once you understand that this Sat Buddhi is pervaded by everything, and that you are, and this ultimately is Antavanta. This Ime Deha is Antavanta. This Antavanta Ime Deha. Of what we see this again here, singular and plural. Nitya is in the singular. Sharirina is in the singular. Of this Shariri, of this Nitya, of this Anashi, of this Aprameya, Ime Deha. So many bodies are there. And Atma is only one. People think as many bodies, so many Atmas. How many spaces are there? So this spot space is different from that other spot space. Okay, this space, now I am taking this space, spot space from here to here. So this spot space here has come here. And when you walk into the space, so different spaces, Atma is even subtler than space. So Atma is not many, Atma is one. Your Atma, my Atma, this Atma, that Atma, this is not like that. Atma is isness. Isness is amness. And that amness, isness is not different. It is the same thing for everything. And therefore, this adjunct makes it different. That this spot space, this book space, this different spaces. And that is what one has to understand. So, Antavantaha, he says, Ime Deha Antavanta, 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 Antavan, Antavantau, Antavantaha. Antavan, the one who has an end. Antavantau, these two things which have an end. Antavanta is plural. All these dehas, embodied things, embodied beings, the one who have the body, all these dehas have an end. They will come to an end. They are perishable. Yes, cosmic consciousness means isness is consciousness, and this is not even cosmic. Cosmos is also in terms of totality. You know, like you say, total ocean. Which is not neither individual nor total. That kind of a conscious principle, I amness, which is timeless, objectless, spaceless awareness, that cannot be in terms of space, cosmos, or anything. That is the beingness. That beingness cannot be in terms of space or time or object. That beingness is isness. That isness is not in terms of space and time. Okay, Shobha?
Swamiji,
Yes.
Akash this side.
Yes, Shobha.
Yes, Swamiji. Understood.
Understood. So Shobha had asked this question. So therefore, one has to understand this way. Now today's verses, 2 verses we have to do. Who will do this verses? I will explain that. Now Bhagavan is quoting 2 verses from the Shruti, Kathopanishad. You know, we chanted now these 2 verses. That is why I chanted more of these 2 verses. Yaenam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubau tau na vijanita nayam hanti na hanyate. Why Bhagavan is quoting from Kathopanishad? Bhagavan, whatever he is saying is an Upanishad. Yet, Bhagavan is quoting from the Upanishad because Upanishad are the pramanas. And they are the witnessing, they are the sakshi. That is, everything has to be quoted. Bhagavan, he says, Upanishad is the authority. And I am not saying as this person. I am, even any rishi will say the Upanishad, the Vedas. And therefore, Bhagavan is quoting the Upanishads here in terms of these 2 verses. We are bodily lifted from the Kathopanishad. Ya enam vetti hantaram. Enam atmanam. Enam here means that which is under discussion. What is under discussion?
Atma.
Ye Atma. The one who knows this Atma to be the killer. In Kathopanishad, there is no context of war. Yet it is talked about, even the same thing is talked about Hantaram, Hantam. It seems that if in Gita, there is a context of war. So killing, why this killing example is used? Hanana Kriya.
Because
You know,
killing
because
is the worst possible action that one can do.
So suppose if I am a boxer, Swamiji gives an example in Gita study. I don't have to defeat everyone. I have to defeat the champion boxer. And then I become the champion. In all the kriyas, the Hanana Kriya is the worst. And if you do away with that Hanana Kriya, the doer of that, karta of that, and the karma, then all is taken care of. So here he says, yeah, enam vetti hantaram. The one who knows, vetti, the one who knows this Atma to be the killer. To be the killer means to be the doer, to be the experiencer, to be the knower. Yascha enam manyate hatam. Yascha enam hatam manyate. And the one who considers this Atma to be killed means the object of your action. The one is the agent of the action, and the one who thinks this Atma to be the agent, and the one who thinks the Atma to be the object of action. Means the doing means if you do some wrong thing, you have a guilt. And the something which is the object of action means hurt. you become an object of somebody's ridicule, then the object of this doership, guilt, and object, hurt. This guilt and hurt is not there. Ubhautau na vijanita nayam hanti na hanyate. Na ayam atma na hanti. Neither it is a killer nor killed. Neither it becomes the agent of any action, nor it is an object of any action. Because though both who consider Atma to be the agent, the doer, because there is no doership in Atma. And there is no enjoyership in Atma. It is not neither the agent of action nor the object of any action. Enam vetti hantaram yaschainam hanyate matam yaschainam manyate hatam ubhautau na vijanita. They do not know. Both of these people, the one who knows he is the agent of action and the one who knows he is the object of it, both of them do not know. I am Atma na hanti na hanyate. Means what? The whole problem is of guilt and hurt in the world. Dharma and adharma, papa punya, doership and enjoyership. The whole shift is there in this. Once you understand you are the Atma, it should be more than cosmic consciousness because it includes the Atma within us. Yes, Sharda. More than that is what Atma mein everything comes. That is why I gave you the example of water. Same thing. So, yes, you can ask, Akash. And that is why this verse, this is taking away the guilt and hurt. Ubhautau na vijanita nayamanti na hanyate. Anybody wants to add something here, Rajiv? Rajiv.
I think, no, Swamiji, everything you have explained.
Anu, anything? Sharda? Shobha?
No, Swamiji, I'm good. Thank you.
Shobha?
No, Swamiji.
Okay. So next verse is really, he does away with the vikriya. Atma mein koi kriya bhi nahi. So next verse is na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvato yam purana na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So Bhagavan brings out shad vikaras in the body. Jayate, asti, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. The jayate is born. Then is. This isness is in time. Asti is. Your stillborn child is even, it is not. The born ke baad it is not there. Stillborn child, isness usko nahi keh sakte, it is. Because it is stillborn child. Jayate asti. Vardate, then it grows. Viparinimate, it metamorphoses. Changes happen. Apakshiyate, it declines. And vinashyati, it dies, perishes. So these 6 kind of changes is not there for the Atma. Because he says, Bhutva Bhavita Vana Bhuya. That which na ayam Bhutva Abhavita. That Bhutva Abhavita, Abhutva Bhavita, both ways it is said. Bhutva means it was there, it is not born. Like there you have a birthday. You know, Krishna is not born. Krishna Ashtami came in, or usse pehle wo nahi tha. From absence, Abhutva, that he has come into being. It is not, birth is not like that. It is a manifestation. Birth is not in terms of Krishna was not there and now it has come into manifestation. So this isness does not come into being at a particular given time. Na jayate. And it does not come to an end even. Na mriyate. That this body dies, Atma dies. No, sir. Na mriyate. So these beginning and end is taken care of by these 2 words. Kadachit, never, ever. Not now or ever. कि पहले था कभी ऐसा नहीं, कभी भी नहीं. Then he says it is ajaha, unborn, nityaha, shashvataha, puranaha. So ajaha means not born, means it is ever there. It was not there and now it is born. No, it is not like that. It is timeless. It is in all the three periods of times it is there. So this way, Shashvata, Purana. Purana means Pura eva naya, Nava. This is ever new. It is not that Purana means thousands of years ago. What was thousands of years ago? Same Atma is this. Atma of Krishna and Atma of me are not different. Same conscious principle remains because it's timeless. How can it be newly born? How can it be new, something new? Purana here means it verses we will do again in the next class, and then you can prepare in the next class and you can speak on these verses, because today's class totally I have taken, and because I wanted to summarize little bit, because I don't know how much justice I have done. Let us see. Yes, Akash, you were asking something. Akash?
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes.
Swamiji, I wanted to know ki this whole idea, philosophy, or belief that we are all one, or we are all the source coming from one source. Is it because it makes us living together more easy? We can cohabitate easily,
No.
that we are one,
It is not
or
a belief system.
cohabitate of if we are not all from one source?
It is not like that. What it is not, we are not talking of what is good or what is bad, what is dharma and what is adharma. We are talking from the standpoint of what is the truth, isness, amness. We are talking of in terms of reality. We are talking in terms of the truth of this existence, really speaking. We are not talking in terms of good or bad or cohabitants and this and that. It is not the point at all. It is the truth of your own existence. Amness, which is not even timeless, which is timeless, spaceless, objectless awareness. It is, we are really talking of the essence of you, the truth of you. So it is not dependent upon what your mind thinks. And what really mind really, it is not what you see and what you interpret. It is not will-based knowledge. It is not will-based knowledge because it is not human mind's imagination to know the truth in this manner or the other manner. It is what is to be known. Like you cannot infer, like you cannot say this color is what you think it is to be. What the object, nature of the object, that color you will see. You don't have a choice in it. So according to the nature of the object, so Atma's nature, what it is totally unfolded by the Vedanta. Vedanta Shastra. Vedanta Shastra is the Veda, means the knowledge with Dhatu, the one who knows. So this is not that Newton created that law. Law was already existing. He only saw that law. And that Rishaya to Mantra Drashtara. Rishi means the seer of the mantras, the knower of the mantras. Pashyati Janati ti Rishi. The one who sees, the one who knows. Pashyati Janati ti Rishi. The one who sees and one who knows. Already existing laws, already existing knowledge. He is not creating that knowledge. He is not trying to understand the knowledge according to his mind. It is already there, and that is why, in that sense, it has to understand the way it is, the way the truth is. It is not will-based. It is according to the object, the nature of Atma. It is object-based. Yes. Who else? Anybody else on whatever we have discussed today? Aprameya may be explained everything, pramana, prameya. Therefore, pramana, this Vedanta is a pramana in the sense Bhagwan is also quoting Kathopanishad. So it is not that, what anybody is saying. Anybody saying Tom, Dick and Harry, anybody cannot say, but they have to take the support of Upanishad because that is the ultimate. Shruti is the ultimate. Even Smriti is not. Gita has to be in conformity with the Upanishad. And if it is not, then Upanishads has to be taken into consideration, not the Smriti. Smriti is from the mind, like Veda Vyasa's mind is writing this Mahabharata. Shruti is not one particular mind. Shruti is apaurushaya. It is not paurushaya. It is not authored by any human mind. Like I said, Newton did not author that law. So it is already given, this understanding. Yes. We have 5 more minutes, 7 more minutes.
Swamiji, I wanted to ask something.
Yes.
While we read the Bhagavad Gita, we listen to the discourses, we try to understand, contemplate. Everything seems absolutely true and fine. But when it comes to practical application, we are very far away from it. Like if somebody is grieving on the death of a loved one, we understand, this is not to be grieved for, and it is after all Atma and all that. But when it comes to your own family, you are not able to implement that.
No,
How
it is not. It is said that we don't say grief will not be there in terms of relative world. But the truth of that, and one's abidance into the truth of that understanding, the clarity of your beingness, that abidance takes time. So therefore, Bhagavan, when I said that there is no reason for grief, once you understand, like once you say that clay is not destroyed, only the pot get destroyed, or the space does not get destroyed, only the pot space get destroyed. Even the pot space does not really get destroyed, because space was ever the pot space was ever the space only. So when the pot gets destroyed, the pot space, the adjunct, because of which the pot space does not get destroyed. So really your identification was with the pot and not with the space. The pot space, you are taking yourself to be limited, thinking that you are limited by this pot space. Space does not have any limitation. In fact, once you understand there is no limitation, and that limitation is because of confusion, non-understanding. Therefore, once you know that abidance in that truth, that clarity, then you will not have, your I is rooted in some anatma vastu, asad vastu, not sad vastu. So therefore, this practice is the shift in cognitively shifting from your I, from anatma to atma. And that is the whole practice.
And Swamiji, maybe the conditioning is so strong.
Yes.
It's difficult to break this conditioning. It will take a long time to
That
break
is
this
why
conditioning.
conditioning is again from the mind, senses and everything. And
What was
therefore,
very
yes, Sharda.
Swami, there was one point which was brought out, which really was interesting, about the Sarva Karma Sannyasi, which is different from a Karma Sannyasi, because a Sarva Karma Sannyasi could be one who's basically understood that Atma and the true nature of Atma. And therefore, this whole concept of Kartritva is removed from him. So regardless of whether he is a sannyasi in terms of being a sannyasi, or he's a householder like King Janaka was, he continues to do his work with, as per his prarabdha, he faces his life and his destinies, but that whole concept of kartritva is removed from his actions. So karma does not work there, because then Swami Dayananda says this is how Shankara tries to link Vedanta with Karma Yoga. So I don't know how, or karma basically. So I just
Yeah,
wanted you to
see,
speak a little on that.
see, Sarva Karma Sannyasa term used by Shankaracharya, Sarva Karma Sannyasa is in terms of, there are two kinds of sannyasa. One is karma sannyasa, like me, sannyasi, I give up.
Yes.
And one is the other way is sarva karma sannyasa, is the sense of giving up, the sense of doership. The sense of doership is given up, which is the knowledge. Because you are not the doer means you are not the karta of any karma. Therefore, totally you are giving up your doership. So no karma is done by you. That is the sarva karma sannyasa. So it is the whole goal of Vedanta is to arrive at this understanding that the Atma which you are, the I amness, you know, that which.
Oh.
Hello.
Swamiji is back.
Come back.
Yes.
So that is you. That changeless Sadbuddhi, which is defined at, that is you. This changing you is not you. So once you arrive at the karta, bhokta, atma is not you. You are akarta, non-doer. You are abhokta, non-enjoyer. So guilt and hurt is not there. So sarva karma sannyasa is the term people get confused. Sarva karma sannyasa is not in terms of giving up action totally, because nobody can give up action. Gita is saying it's not possible to give up any action. But what is it? So sarva karma sannyasa is a way of life. Karma sannyasa is a way of life for a sannyasi, wherein you are practicing that way of life, wherein Shrauta karma, Smarta karma, which is enjoined by the Shruti and Smritis, are given up, because your goal is not dharma artha kama, your goal is moksha.
Swamiji,
Yes.
Swamiji, what Shobha was saying, कि when we are attending a session, ये सब समझ में आता है, फिर भूल जाते हैं, or we're not able to. So one thing that really helped me in terms of reminding myself of it is something that Ramesh Balsekar had written in one of his books. He said, whatever you define your life as, whatever you think is your identity, right? Okay, if it is your work, or it is your relationship, or it is your status, whatever it is, if you look back to all the key points in your life which brought you to that, if it's your job, for example, how you got the first job, how you got the promotion, whatever you identify with, if you look at it, you will realize that you had done nothing to be where you are. You may have spent your life working, but actually the fact that you found that job was a series of
coincidences,
incidents that happened, which made you land at that job at that point of time. And that is today your identity, with that I am the CEO of so-and-so company. And if you just trace it back and you realize you had done nothing to get here. I found that very, I actually thought about it in actually every aspect of my life. For example, if I say my parenthood, my motherhood is my greatest identity. That I had these sons, मैंने क्या किया था इसके लिए?
Yeah, it's a good example in a way, but what beingness we are talking of, not in terms of any role, or not in terms of any.
Yeah, I understand. I'm saying
yeah.
ये जो अपने अंदर जो मैं करता हूँ वाला भाव जो इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग बैठा हुआ है ना, उसको निगेट करने के लिए बार बार याद कराना पड़ता है कि सच में क्या किया. क्या किया तुमने? तुम जो समझते हो कि तुम हो आज, तुमने क्या किया था ये होने के लिए? और उसके बाद
तो कभी कुछ करता ही नहीं है.
आईएमनेस वाली फीलिंग में तब जाके बैठ पाते, क्योंकि जो कंडीशनिंग इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है बॉडी माइंड की, और कंडीशनिंग इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है कर्तापन की, कि उसको नेगेट करने में समय लगता है.
So that is correct. That is why Upanishad is saying Punapponena Shavanam Kuryat. Hello.
Haan
Hariom.
ji.
You're there.
Punapponena Shavanam Kuryat Sarvam Sanyasya. So Punapponena means for this clarity to happen, Yagyavalkya Rishi is saying Atmavare Drashtavya Shrotavya Mantavya Nididhyasitavya. So the whole sadhana is given in the sense of Shravana. Shravana is the main thing. We have clarity, all the confusion cobwebs, because Atma is already aparoksha. You don't have to do anything. It is already there. You are already experiencing yourself. It is not to be experienced in terms of anything. It is there. You don't know about it. How you don't know about it? All the cobwebs in the mind, confusions, and that has to be removed. So therefore, ignorance has to be removed. Therefore, avidya nivritti has to be removed, done. That is a ashochyan. Ashochya word, negative particle. It begins with the Gita, begins with the negative particle. Na ashochya. Nothing is there to be grievable. And that is why all that is anatma, because to arrive at, nothing is to be done. And that too, as Anu is saying, it is not easy to come to the point of understanding that you are not the karta bhokta, because the whole life is all guilt and hurt in one stroke.
Or
Everything
pride.
is
Or pride,
guilt.
not guilt, no, or pride and vanity also. कि
Yes,
मैंने
pride
ये
is
किया और मैंने वो किया,
everything
एकदम.
comes, everything. So this is negative because we ponder over negative things more, and that is why guilt and hurt, two terms we are saying. So both are done away with the Gita study, everything Upanishad study, because your whole identification shift from here to there, from anatma to atma, from non-real to real, from really asatoma sadgamaya, asat se sat ki taraf, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Tamas means andhakar, ignorance se jyoti, gyan ki taraf, mrityorma amritam gamaya. That every moment you are dying in time is the moment which is dying. Amritam gamaya means timeless you become. Every day you are doing these prayers. But why you don't understand the meaning of this prayer? Because you have not really looked into this. And therefore it has not become your mindset. Asatoma sadgamaya. असत और सत बुद्धि की तो बात हम कर रहे हैं, हम आप क्यों प्रे करते हो? असतो मा सद्गमया, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया, मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमया. Isn't it? Then you are saying it, but just saying it. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. So mrityu, mortality to immortality. Shobha is written.
Actually, असत से सत की तरफ जाते हुए और तमस से ज्योति की तरफ जाते हुए अपने आप समझ में आने लग जाता है कि कहीं जाना नहीं है, इमॉर्टैलिटी तो है ही, क्योंकि बॉडी.
हाँ, वो तो है ही. असत बुद्धि सद्बुद्धि के बगैर है ही नहीं. सारा कुछ सब कुछ उसके बगैर है ही नहीं, सब कुछ उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट ही है. The whole manifested world is dependent upon that aimlessness which you are actually speaking. That aimlessness, in what terms I am, that you have to clearly see. Once you see it clearly, all this confusion, you become a very normal human.
Yeah, this used to be part of our prayer in school, Kendriya Vidyalaya mein, and I used to remember, I used to think कि अच्छा ये body immortal हो जाएगी. Body shift ये आता है कि भैया हम body ही नहीं है.
हाँ.
हम माइंड ही नहीं है, और जो है वो तो है ही इमॉर्टल. तो इमॉर्टलिटी की तरफ जाना किसने है? खाली अंडरस्टैंडिंग का ही तो शिफ्ट आना है, और होना क्या है?
Definitely.
If I may say something.
Yes, Akash.
स्वामी जी, आज ना एक इंसिडेंट हुआ जहाँ पे somebody was very rude to me and it stayed with me for very long. फिर मैंने उसको कुछ देर बाद कहा, but you're not this, ऐसे करके मैंने अपने आप को इससे डिटैच किया by saying that you're not this Akash who is hurt and you're beyond this. But while today अभी आपका जब मैं सुन रहा था, I realized that somehow while I'm saying that, I'm still not accepting to what he has said to me. I'm okay to detach to who I am, but I might not saying that वो मेरा ही तो एक हिस्सा है. Like that acceptance is now I realizing is not there. I might have said I am not Akash जिसको उसने ये कहा है. It might be easier for me to self-detach, but it might not be yet easy for me to accept as him to be me or to the larger world. But I don't know if I'll be able to make you
So
understand.
that is the last point. There are stages in these developments, and this stage which you are talking of, this is the most, profound and highest of it. So it is not that so this identification with this body mind sense complex as the Jnani person, it remains. Yet this doer remains. Yet the understanding is there that really speaking, the Atma is not the doer, and really my existence, reality of my existence is with this. And that is what happens, that my performance is not this body mind sense complex.
फिर चले गए हमारे स्वामी जी.
Hari Om.
Welcome
Hari
back.
Om.
Welcome back.
So attitude, I was saying, so this attitude will change because of this objectivity, this attitude of towards the people, towards the life, in the heart of your heart. Once you understand your true being, it is not that you always have to think that he and me are not different, but this is a good way of thinking that yes, Atma Tattva, the existence itself, principally, non-separate. Yet, in this manifestation, the roles you are playing, and therefore, always in duality, there are conflicts. There is rub also. So, in that rub, dharma comes, and adharma comes. So, therefore, if you stay and abide in dharma, what your conscience is saying, then you will be good enough. So, you don't have to bring up in terms of vyavahara all the time this understanding of knowledge that he and me are not other. Then you will not be able to really live in this world, because dharma is there. The Arjuna has to kill. That which is adharma has to kill. So he cannot say that, Arjuna cannot say that I cannot kill, he is me one. So dharma plays an important role. Your conscience plays an important role. That is what we have to understand. Principally, everything is that and that alone. Everything is, in fact, what? You see, if you stand in front of the mirror, you are very well aware that this is a reflection. Whereas a sparrow or a dog, when they see the reflection, they fight with that reflection, because they are not aware that it is a reflection. So what is the difference? The mere knowledge that this is a reflection, gives you an attitude to be towards that reflection, how you should be dealing with it. Whereas a sparrow or a dog or anything, as a matter of fact, no animal, they are not able to handle it. So it is your understanding the clarity of the truth. It will give you objectivity towards the world, and therefore right attitudes to live. Dharma, adharma. So therefore identity crisis is there. Therefore Arjuna's life also confusions were there about dharma and adharma. So Bhagavan really straight away deals with ajnana, the confusion about Atma, because that is the cause, that is the reason for all the grief, shoka moha. He has gone to the cause to deal with, and therefore that is what one has to do. So slowly one has to work upon this knowledge, this clarity, which does not come by not attending the classes, which will come only by attending the classes.
That's a great punchline, Swamiji.
ये स्वामी जी ने आज.
Okay, then time over. It's going much ahead. We have gone.
ठीक है, close करते हैं फिर.
Okay.
करिए, close करिए ना.
Swamiji,
हाँ.
there is one small query which you can address later on. It's not important for today, but just that when you tell us that this is Sankhya, so I just wanted your just wanted a clarity on those 6 darshanas which are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, and then Uttar Mimamsa and Purv Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa.
That we can see some other way. Not in this class. Bhagavad Gita we will keep, and then this will become very philosophical.
So
We will see.
want...
we will. I'll talk to you individually.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Amritangamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, I made a mistake in chanting.
हाँ. असतो मा सद्गमया, तमसो मा
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya.
Amritangamaya.
Swamiji, it was a vindication for me because I also confused between the 3 in the sequence.
Because of Hari Bari, that is